ones, for example, that are going to be vital in maintaining balanced ecosystems for others. Like vultures and condors, for example, incredibly important. They're like the cleanup crew or the sanitation workers. They're not all the dead and yucky things from bacteria or disease that's left over, so it doesn't harm other wildlife, and in theory, let's say if that important cleanup crew all went away, as could everything else eventually, which almost exactly happened to the California condors, for example, back in the 1980s, due to habitat loss and lead poisoning that was in the lake threat. A mere 22 California condors remained in the southwest region here on the brink of extinction. So the safari park decided to do something about that because, well, when you're helping out the cleanup crew, you in turn help out everyone else as well. And they did just that for them. With government permission, the safari park here was able to bring in the remaining California condors from a native wild to a breeding program here at the park that is still going on to this day, and to great success, I might add. They have been able to raise their numbers just from those 30-some years ago to over 500 today. Many of these they have been able to release back into the wild. And you can see some of those California condors here at the safari park up at Condor Ridge. Head on up there if you have the chance to check them out. Beautiful views of the valley, those magnificent condors who are absolutely massive. Their wingspan is going to span roughly wider than the width of our tram at about 9 foot. Staying on the topic of some big things here, we got the largest species of antelope, the Patterson's eland, sometimes called the common eland, the khaki colored ones, closest to us. You might see a few smaller ones laying in the shade of the tree, 4 littles in the group here, going on a few months old. Now, and staying still on the topic of some large things, if you look actually to the right-hand side, you might see some massive horns sticking up below the pepper trees. Those horns are going to belong to the Ankole cattle, which are domestic cattle from East Africa. And that's why those horns have gotten so big. Selective human breeding, not a reason like an adaptation to help them in their environment. Tip, those horns on the Ankole cattle can reach upwards of 6 foot wide, which is like the one bench that you're sitting on right now, those 4 feet put together. So most of them would just barely fit on board the train with us, but I have a feeling they wouldn't be very good passengers. But don't worry, being that domestic cattle, they're not a food source for anyone in East Africa. They're actually considered to be a status symbol, seen as signs of status and wealth, show off to others around them. Similar if someone here drove around town in a sports car to show off their wealth to society here as well. But do grab in a final look here of what's around us right now as we are heading on out of here back into East Africa Savannah, where our journey started and began. As we have traveled throughout our journey here today on the tram, start to finish, total we can cover about 2.5 miles. And that's encompassing 250 acres or so of open African savanna habitat. All this amazing open land that we see around us here at the park was all the vision of Dr. Charles Schroeder, who was the San Diego State president at the time back in the 1960s. Ideas started in place with all the open land for animals to roam freely on, as well as being able to coexist with other species like they would out in the wild. Thought an environment set up like this would be good for breeding, which is why the park was originally started and formed. It was to solely be that breeding facility for the San Diego Zoo, which it is still to this day breeding facility. Focus now shifting a bit more towards conservation and things like the species survival plan, for example, which is helping to maintain genetic diversity. But anyways, back on track here, right on his idea that he had in a lot of respects, Dr. Schroeder, as for example, the safari park has been the most successful in southern white rhino birds out of anywhere in the world. There's been over 100 of them born here in the last 50 years, 104 to be exact. And the reason for all that success is thought to be attributed to the ecofocus savannas, the habitats here, allowing ample room for them to stay in bigger social groups like they would out in the wild. And that is precisely what they need, very social rhinos. In bigger groups, females feel safer, more comfortable, allowing their bodies to go into estrus, thus being able to get pregnant and have those very cute rhino babies, which has been evident with all the success that has been seen here at the safari park with the southern white rhino. But hey, enough all this rhino talk. I mentioned earlier I could go on about them all day, and they're my favorite, so hey everyone, welcome to the rhino tour. But let's go ahead and check out these giraffes up ahead here, as they indeed do tower above the rest, one of their best palm tree impressions. And that is actually what a group of giraffe is called, as a tower in fact. And that is because oftentimes they are referred to as the watchtowers of the savannah. They have amazing eyesight. They can see someone moving around up to over a mile away. So oftentimes you'll see smaller animals on the savannas, so we look into the giraffe for cues. Because giraffes can see no scary danger long before anyone else can. The rule on savannas is giraffes run, pee run, ask questions later. You don't want to find out what that scary thing is until it is then too late. So you may have noticed we got a couple little nuggets in the group here, not quite towering above the rest yet. One kind of more to back behind us, the other one is laying down here. This is what the truck is probably looking at. The other little, Miru and Toonie are their names. These two littles are 6 months old now, born early February, only a few days apart in age from one another. So it's going to tower above the rest, but even from birth, giraffes definitely tower above most of us humans, as they are about 6 foot high in height when they are first born. Because, well, they do have to be tall enough to nurse from mom. And they are, of course, joined by some more southern white rhinos hanging out here in their big crash, which is the name for a group of rhinos. It's called a crash. Speaking of some little ones, though, we got, well, he's not so little anymore. The rhinos that are kind of more on the far left here, sort of parallel to me in the front of the tram. The one standing up, looks like we got Holly and her little Wavy. He is going on 2 years old this summer, having a nice rest there with mom. Southern white rhino cows, though, they'll hang out with mom for up to 3 years. I totally wish we could hang out here all day with these guys in the savannas. If we had it my way, we so would. So we do need to head back on into the station now as we pass some more Cape Buffalo and a wildebeest next to the Cape Buffalo. But as we do head on into the station here, I hope you all learned a couple of different cool facts about the wildlife here and also about their adaptations and how these adaptations not only help them to better survive but thrive in their environment. Like the light color of the greater flamingo to stay cool in that hot sun. And on behalf of myself and the organization, Escondido Zoo Wildlife Alliance and the Safari Park, I'd like to thank you all for joining us here today through one of our 2 front doors. As we are a non-profit organization that meets everything from admission tickets to self-purchase within the park or the zoo, all goes back into not only caring for the wildlife here, but wildlife conservation projects worldwide. Looks like we'll be hanging back here for a minute or so until this tram in front of us loads up and heads on out.